There we go. And we have the meeting minutes. Marketing. All right, let me start up Chrome, my other browser. I'll see if I can show the minutes and stuff. See what we can do here. Okay, marketing. There we go. And set that to 100%, but no, 125%. All right, looks like we have last week's meeting minutes. No one's created anything for this week, so let me copy over. Oops. Sorry, I'm making sure.
I think we discussed last week Reza was going to start off showing something.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
Unless
get
I'm wrong.
into the metric stuff. I think we should
Okay.
probably do that. There we go. I just pasted it, Ryan. And in fact, let me share my screen before we Google Chrome. There we go. Reza, you can go ahead if you're ready for this week.
I'm ready. Yeah, we discussed it, so I do have it handy.
Okay.
And after the fact, we can, if you can tell me where I can upload the slide deck, I can do that. I think it's a good practice. Whatever cadence we decide here, I think ultimately it would be a good practice to essentially, store this somewhere periodically, just so you know how it looked like over a period of time. I'm unable to share. Zoom is one of those funny things where you have to be host in order to share. So if you can,
Oh, really?
please temporarily, and then I'll share.
I think Emily, that's gonna have to be you again if you've still got access.
Sorry, what are you saying? Are you asking?
Oh, I'm gonna have to stop sharing. Let me try stop sharing, and now maybe you could start sharing.
That might be.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That might be all it is. Yes, that is in fact all it is. All right, so let me just situate myself here. Right, that's that. All right. Hopefully you're able to see my screen, right?
I do not see a screen yet.
I see.
It might
can.
be okay.
can.
It's hidden behind one of my 200 tabs. Oh, wait, no. Okay, just go ahead. I'll find it.
All right, let me know when you're able to see it, and then we'll move forward. Hopefully everybody else.
There it is. I got it.
All right, excellent. So let me get rolling. I think we are going to need the time, especially if we have a little bit of discussion. So if it's okay with you, John, I'd like to move ahead.
Go for it.
Okay.
Did we start the recording? Sorry.
Yes, we did.
Okay, sorry, I missed it. Just want to make sure.
Okay. So here's what I did. As we discussed before, we did decide on a metric, at least to begin to understand how we are doing in terms of our performance for our marketing efforts and perhaps efforts for MicroProfile in general. And the metric that we had converged upon is the Google Trends, which I'm going to start with, but I did want to correlate the results a little bit with a few other metrics that are representative for this sort of thing. So when we do this kind of thing at Microsoft, there's certain things that we measure, and more or less that's the stuff that I represented, and the results are pretty consistent. There's a few different observations you can make depending on the metric, but more or less it's across the board, the general observations are pretty consistent. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is just a Google Trends for the search term MicroProfile. There's other things that you can measure, but search terms seems to be the most accurate one. And this is in general the lay of the land of how things look like. So definitely there was a growth pattern from around 2017 to, let's say, mid 2019. There was a growth pattern in terms of increased search results. And then, as you can see, things have plateaued off a little bit. Overall, that's the story. It's a plateau, or maybe even a slight decrease if you really made a curve, which standardized curve, which I don't know how to do in Google Trends. I suspect it would be a slightly downward trend. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a dip for sure, and that's normal. Most technologies did experience a dip that's the COVID time period. If you correlate it, it's about the time period for COVID in terms of the dip and the recovery. It all correlates with sort of the COVID trends of things. But even after COVID, what you observe here is that there is sort of a stagnation, definitely not growth for sure, maybe even a decline over a period of time in terms of overall interest for MicroProfile. Now, if you correlate that with some other things, you have some other interesting observations as well. So, for example, if you superimpose Jakartai, again, search terms seems to be the most effective one, even for Jakartai. This is what you observe. So as you can see, my Jakartai started a little bit later than MicroProfile in terms of actually being visible in search trends. But there was a general spike, initial general spike, and then growth. So I would categorize Jakarta sort of as organic growth, not exponential growth, or very much organic growth. If I were to put a curve on this size, so I would suspect it's a less than 30% curve. It's probably something around like a 25-degree curve or something of that nature. But you can see the differences between Jakarta and MicroProfile, where Jakarta is gradually on an upward trend, right, on an organic trend. MicroProfile is stagnated, or maybe even in a little bit decreasing in terms of its search engine interest. So that's an interesting observation. So the takeaway for me here is understanding what is working in terms of Jakarta, and maybe trying to see what tactics or strategies can be employed or borrowed that is actually working for Jakarta. Feel free.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Feel free to interrupt me. Go ahead. Yeah. I am
I
watching
was just
hand raise function, so if you want to use that, that's also okay. But if you don't want to, just stay with that.
just curious. You're saying organic growth for Jakarta E, but do you consider organic growth also, since they have evangelists and these people going out and promoting and this? So I mean, those are all paid, so I wouldn't say it's organic. But I'm curious, yeah, also like what they're doing to get out there more than say MicroProfile, even though I know we're not doing very much. So
Yeah, so there's other things you can take a look at that even is even more stark in terms of really what is going on. So there's numerous things, numerous relevant keywords that you can put in Google Trends to see, observe kind of where things are. But I think one instructive one was Quarkus. So as you can see, Quarkus started much later than MicroProfile, several years later, in fact. But you can see this I will still categorize this as organic, right? This is a linear curve. It's not an exponential curve. There are technologies certainly in the Microsoft umbrella where we do see exponential growth. If we plot this out, this would not look like an exponential graph. This would still look pretty much linear. So something is working for sure. And in fact, if you do I'll do the comparison in a moment, you'll see that Quarkus is actually growing faster than Jakarta for sure. Still, I would say like a linear organic curve. If you were to curve this out, it would probably be, my guess would be 30%, 30-degree grade, something like that. Not exponential growth for sure either, but regardless growth. So again, I think the major takeaway here is understanding what is working for Quarkus and what strategies and tactics or elements can be borrowed from Quarkus, because ultimately, at least it would be good to see some kind of linear growth for MicroProfile as well, even if it's like, you know, a 5% grade or even a 10% grade, but that's not the case right now. As you can see, long term, very flat, and maybe even downward in a long period, maybe, right? If you continue to observe the same trends, that's where it's going to go. And it's been flat for quite a while. It's not like a small glitch. It's definitely been going on. Whatever is going on, it has been a challenge for a while. So really eye-opener is putting in something like Spring Boot. And, you know, if you put in other things that are, you know, in the similar vein, people that, you know, for most technologies that folks would consider sort of mainstream growth technologies, you really see what is going on. So I did put in all 4 of the terms that are overall relevant, it seems like. And namely, you know, these 4, MicroProfile, Jakarta, Quarkus, and Spring Boot. So you can see, once you put Spring Boot in the picture, it almost seems like a zero growth curve. For both Jakarta and MicroProfile, it's negligible. Negligible is, you know, probably even doesn't even begin to describe it. Quarkus, as you can see, again, you can see when in the bigger picture, it really is linear growth. It's not sort of exponential growth. It's also linear growth for Spring Boot. It's just their magnitude is much higher, you know, than anything else compared to us. It's not like they are experiencing some kind of significant growth either. That curve is probably more like a you know, 20-degree grade, 15-degree grade as well. It's just that the magnitude is like just way higher than anything that we are doing in terms of our you know, our ecosystem. And the observation that I take away from here is that in general we need to figure out like how do we become more competitive, because if we don't see exponential growth in at least somewhere in our ecosystem, it means that I don't know what that means in terms of market relevance. I think it definitely means we're not as market relevant as we should be or maybe hope to be. All right, I see Emily and John raise their hands. Unfortunately, Zoom doesn't tell me who raised their hand first, so I'm just gonna go with Emily.
So mine is quick. I think John raised a hand before me. Anyway, quick one. So for this, how did you get the data? You said a search term. So where did you get the data from?
This is Google Trends, Emily. So basically what this means is people entering these search terms in Google. And this is worldwide data, essentially over a long period of time, basically since 2017 onward.
When you say the kind of this is the kind of you measure daily, right? So it's per day, or this data is per day, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's pretty quick frequency. I would think they collect this data probably daily. Yeah.
Okay. So the y-axis is 100. So basically, even for Spring, daily search is at most 100.
Oh no, that's not what this means. This is they don't give you this is not absolute numbers of searches. This is sort of relative metric, basically helpful for. So if you can see, like they're telling you, hey, based on an axis, this is what the number is. It's a relative number. So if you look, you know, this doesn't mean that there's 100 searches for MicroProfile. It just means that's the relative frequency. That's all. That's all that really means. I don't think Google tells you like exactly how many searches.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Sean.
So, a couple of things that I have tended to do, and maybe you've done it, but part of the problem with searching for Spring Boot in Jakarta EE is the term, right? The Indonesian capital is Jakarta, right? Spring is a season, and sometimes those get pulled in.
That's why I deliberately said Jakarta. I did put putting in Jakarta has no meaning. whatsoever. Same thing for saying spring. It's just completely meaningless results. But this
Okay.
is literally that phrase it's looking for. It's not like literally if it's the equivalent of going in Google and type in double quote spring space boot double quote and double quote.
Right.
It's searching for that string.
Yeah, as I say, because yeah, typically I'd quote it and I would add the word and Java, right? Add Java to it. And then
Have to hear, yeah, because that it functions in that way, right? So
Yeah.
Google Trends, it automatically does that for you. It's not looking for string and boot, two different words. It's literally looking for that specific string in the all the searches that people are putting in. Same
and
thing.
then I would also narrow the category that we're searching in. I don't know if you did that as well.
I did, yeah, but most
Okay,
meaningful,
good.
in my opinion, is just search. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else, it gets even lower, to be honest. It gets even worse for
Right.
MicroProfile because it's just not relevant enough. Okay. All right, so I did corroborate some of these results with some other metrics. So first thing I looked at, obvious one to look at is it would be nice if the others, if there were many other surveys that were counting Jakarta in MicroProfile. Honestly speaking, most of the industry surveys aren't even measuring Jakarta or MicroProfile for that matter. So really the only survey that is doing either of that is the Jakarta developer survey. And you can kind of, if you look at the results here, it basically mirrors what is happening in the Google search trend as well. We have a slight downward trend for MicroProfile and a modest growth for Jakarta. So the modest growth did not surface in the survey. The modest growth for Jakarta did not really show up. They're showing flat growth year over year, whereas we're showing that dip. It's not a big dip, but still a dip nonetheless. So 26% this year versus 30% last year. Yes, John, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, and this probably affects both years, but I think sometimes developers don't know they're using MicroProfile, right? So when you see REST client, they probably don't know they're using MicroProfile, right? They just might assume it's all under either it's just a standalone API or it's under the Jakarta umbrella, right? I suspect there's a decent amount of that going on, but I don't know how you measure it.
It's a hypothesis. Yeah, I don't know that there's, I don't know, I don't have evidence to prove or disprove that. But regardless, yeah, this is more or less this is just corroborating data points. It basically mirrors what's going on even in the Google, what you observe in Google search engine, and in fact, the other metrics that I looked at. So Jakarta has slightly better growth than MicroProfile, and again, seem to be stagnating or maybe going down just a little bit. Okay. If there are other questions, I'll move on to the next one. Okay, moving on. So the other one next one I looked at is job search, right? So this is truly dismal, to be honest. And again, it's not that much better for Jakarta either. It's only marginally better. So I looked at 3 different job boards. Typically, really, I just stop by looking at Indeed, right? Because Indeed really, what Indeed does is that it takes data from multiple job sites and it basically creates a meta search mechanism. But it's not always perfect. I don't know how often they gather the data or whatnot, but there was zero, literally no MicroProfile jobs whatsoever, not even one. Last few times when I looked at it, I saw 1 or 2 job postings, but this time when I looked, absolutely nothing. So I went ahead and looked at Dice, which is another one that's popular amongst technologists. It doesn't explicitly say that, but it's more or less oriented towards tech job seekers, and absolutely nothing again. No, zero jobs for MicroProfile whatsoever. Monster is not specific to tech. It's like a general job site, but it is also significantly larger. There's a lot more jobs that are typically posted on Monster, and even there, I only found 1. only one job that mentions MicroProfile. And this is very, very sobering, right? Because this is an indicator of adoption, number one, and also mind share with regards to the technology. So really, of all the metrics I looked at, this was an eye opener for me. It's like, okay, after so many years of MicroProfile, this is not really a very good thing to look at. I don't know what the takeaway here is. General takeaway from this is that, we simply need to realize that we need to do better somehow in terms of adoption. Okay, moving forward. Another useful one that a lot of people look at, it's not super, and in my opinion, I think the job boards, Indeed.com, Google Trends, industry surveys, these are better quality metrics, but this is also a proxy metric. So this is basically GitHub repository. So GitHub has this mechanism where you can tag your repositories with certain keywords. So this is basically looking at those keywords. So again, the general overall trends hold here as well. So you can see 312 repositories for MicroProfile, about the same for Jakarta EE, 352. Slightly more, well, again, not slightly more, but in terms of metric, if you actually measure it out, it basically mirrors exactly what we've seen overall. So more for Quarkus, about 1,500, 1,600 repositories that are tagging themselves Quarkus, but absolutely dwarfed by by things that are tagged Spring Boot. So Spring Boot almost 60,000, almost on I mean there's not even a comparison in terms of how much higher the Spring Boot adoption is, even in terms of GitHub repositories that are people are tagging. Another related one you can take a look at is Stack Overflow. So again, Stack Overflow has this mechanism where you can tag questions, and there's definitely, you can very concretely see which tags people are using for which technologies. Yet again, the same patterns hold, but interestingly, in case of Stack Overflow, because they got rid of the Java EE tag and basically moved over everything to Jakarta EE, Stack Overflow wide, that number is higher. So it's more reflective of probably Java EE plus Jakarta EE and J2E. I hope not, but also. But that's how I interpret this result. But in a way, it's good. They've kind of done Jakarta a favor in Stack Overflow by doing that. So again, significantly higher numbers of questions marked Jakarta in that case. In terms of relative strength, I would say, yeah, again, it's about similar story for MicroProfile and Quarkus. And then, yeah, again, when you put in Spring Boot, it's like way out of, it's kind of blows away the rest of the data altogether. It'd be the same. If you mapped it out, it'd probably look exactly the same as a Google Trends. Yes, John.
Yeah, in some ways, Stack Overflow is not really a good comparison because, first of all, Spring support is through Stack Overflow, right? So anything related to Spring Boot goes through there. Whereas, for example, Quarkus, we have our own discussion forums that are separate, right? And that's probably true for each of the implementations of Jakarta and MicroProfile, right? The second reason is, in some ways, you would almost have to add up all of the Jakarta and MicroProfile implementations and the support questions, right? And aggregate those and compare it to Spring Boot. And it may not still be as high, but it's a challenging comparison on Stack Overflow, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, I can try that next time. If there's other things that people want to look at, we can also do that. But the general trends are very clear, in my opinion, and corroborated in multiple metrics. So, okay, that's about all I have. I didn't gather anything more. If you have other ideas of sort of public reliable metrics, I could gather. I'm happy to do that. But there's a few things that jump out to me in terms of. Let me stop sharing. Maybe somebody can tell me where I could put this deck. I think we need to do this periodically. I don't know what frequency we want to follow. I would say at a bare minimum, whatever our planning period is, we should do this at least one per planning period, probably towards the beginning of the planning period. Just so we have an idea and to inform whatever our next planning phase is, I think we need to have this. Otherwise, I'm also more than happy to do this and more regular cadence. If it's I'm even happy with once a month, could be once a quarter, whatever folks want to be doing. I'm happy to do this work because, honestly, this is where the rubber meets the road. Everything else that we do, we have to be honest with ourselves, like what is the actual measurable impact? Okay, John, you have your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I know I keep raising my hand here, but I think quarterly is a good cadence. Anything, things don't change that quickly. In fact, well, yeah, I think quarterly is probably the best. Second is, if you could link to the slide deck in the meeting minutes, yeah, that would help. And I don't have the drive location offhand, but unless Emily
I'm
does
trying
it.
to get it now, but for some reason I can't find it. I don't know why, but I'm trying to get it to send the link.
Yeah, so if we, oh, do you have it?
I will put a link here so that Reza can put it in there.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
No problem.
So I'm looking at the meeting minutes. John, let me see, where is this section? Just somewhere.
If there isn't a section, just add a section that says metrics and MicroProfile metrics and
Measurable marketing metrics. I see that here.
Yeah.
So
And
are you?
if I-
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if I pull out my inner Amelia here, also add it to whatever ticket we have on metrics and GitHub.
Do we- I don't know. But okay, I can add it there. But I guess most importantly, I'd like to get this out of my own out of my personal drive, and I'll put a date on it. I'll say MicroProfile performance, April of 2024. And then if somebody can tell me where I can upload it, I'll go ahead and do that.
I put a link to the chat. It's in the under social media. I don't know whether it's there is a better location for it. In the social media, you can create a folder like a 2020.
I think just marketing would be better than social media.
Marketing.
Yeah.
I cannot see the marketing folder. I cannot see the marketing folder.
MicroProfile community, I see, and then I see.
I'm doing a search and I can't find the MicroProfile shared folder, which had everything in it, and I don't know where it went because I always found it this way.
Working group, there's minutes, specs, social media, retrospectives, surveys, website, conferences, community. It's like a bunch of different things, but I don't see anything for marketing specifically, which is interesting.
Yeah, neither do I. I cannot see the marketing either.
I'm digging through as well.
Really strange.
This is old. The problem is I've got like 3 different links to 3 different MicroProfile community drives, and I can never remember which is the right one. So I got to figure it out here. It's changed over time.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. I got it. Bingo.
Yay.
Okay.
In fact, I just found it.
Oh, you also found it. Okay.
I think so.
Let me post the link just in case. That's a link.
Okay, maybe I'm trying to remember the past, so I remember it in the future. So it is.
If you click on the link, that's the end.
But that's not it because
No.
we had lots of things in there.
Oh,
That's not it.
We had even like swag and all these other things, and I don't see any of it.
so maybe John,
So-
you can marketing. Is that your marketing one?
Let's see here. Is there marketing here? Yeah. I've got the top level community drive. Maybe it's somewhere under here. Let me paste it in. Maybe it's somewhere under there. God, I can't believe we can't find it.
I'm there all the time, and it's just like looks gone.
Hopefully somebody wasn't cleaning up their drive and accidentally blew it away. So, all right, we'll find it. And I'll also I'll add this to the MicroProfile program plan ticket. I'll add a link to the slide deck. In
Okay,
fact,
we do that.
what we might want to do is create a folder, and as you update the deck, well, do we need to have a separate presentation or just version? Yeah, we can just version the one. So yeah, don't worry about that. We'll figure out where to put it, and I'll link to it from the program plan Git issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what should I do for now? Just wait for you
Just
where I should upload
yeah.
it? Okay. All right,
I think what we'll do is we'll comment on the marketing minutes and we'll tag you about where to move it. Please
Okay,
move here. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is great statics, rather good job there. So it's in order to measure the success, the measure like the next step and etc. Yeah, it's great to have this kind of status. However, stats. However, if we don't do anything else to improve it, I think even we do a quarterly, pretty much the same flat kind of chart. So what? So the next thing I think we should think about how can we improve?
exactly.
So what kind of action do we need? So that with quarterly this update, at least we see okay, that action did the job.
Yeah, so you know, again, at a high level, I think what we need to do is there's a few observations as I mentioned. So number one, I think we need to either closely observe or collaborate with the Jakarta marketing folks to understand, because that's our nearest neighbor, to be honest. And although they're not doing fabulous either, frankly, in the scheme of things, they're at least doing slightly better than us. And I think at the bare minimum, we need to maybe collaborate more and understand what, if anything, of strategy and tactics that we can adopt from there. I think, I mean, I really hate to say this, but I mean, frankly, if Liberty was in the same boat as Quarkus, I'd be making the same request of IBM. And maybe we also need to talk to the Quarkus team and have a similar conversation to understand what is it that is working, what is it that they believe is working for them, and what is the delta between the MicroProfile working group and what they are doing. And again, try to see what strategy or tactics can we adopt. In my opinion, we've made one very important step in getting the tutorial out there. I think that was it may be subjective opinion, but I think that was a big impediment, adoption impediment, because there's not really a free resource to actually learn the thing. I think similarly, we can, in my opinion, we could say, you know, maybe we also need better samples, although Jakarta samples aren't that great either. And in general, maybe we need to do more and figure out how do we do more in terms of overall marketing activities. And maybe the answer is, as a working group, you know, we need to increase the marketing budget. And maybe even think about having at least maybe a part-time or full-time dedicated advocate, maybe. Because you know, ultimately, yeah, as you say, you know, making these observations and then changing nothing isn't going to do anything. As an overall, what's going on, especially with Spring Boot, I think that's a question that pretty much even the Jakarta working group needs to be asking itself also, is like, hey, where's the end of the tunnel here? Because the market relevance really isn't there after so many years. You can see the end result. I mean, it's some growth, at least you can say for Jakarta, it's some growth, but not nearly enough, not nearly sufficient. So what really needs to be done? So yeah, those are basically the high level thoughts that I have. Immediate next step, in my opinion, would be maybe we need to spend some time thinking about what the delta is with our nearest neighbor, which is Jakarta.
Yeah, I know that over the past couple of years, we haven't really put a whole lot of emphasis on getting MicroProfile out there, right? We've kind of, I think, tended to more piggyback on other things, whether it's Jakarta or otherwise. So it's mostly been social media, right, via the MicroProfile Twitter/X account, right, which is good. We need to keep doing that, but yeah, we're gonna have to strategize more. And also, I put a link in, Ryan. Let me know if that's it. It's the general MicroProfile community drive link, but under there we also have all the marketing stuff, or so it looks like, swag and stuff like that. So let me know if that link in the chat is the right
It
link.
looks like it. Yeah, let me check a couple like things I've updated lately. Like swag at least. Yeah, this has to be it. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so let's create a new drive link. Let's see, there's surveys, specs. I'm gonna create a new folder called metrics. Do I use the word metrics? Is that the right MicroProfile community metrics?
We just had to pick something and stick to it, John, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, I'll call it metrics.
To be honest, at Microsoft, we just call it OKRs, but I don't know if that's appropriate here.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the link. If you want to try and move it here, it's in the chat. And let me know if you have permissions to move it there. Otherwise, I can just add you. You should, because any of the committers should have access to this.
Okay.
Right now.
I need to kind of navigate my own home directories, my own directories here. I also need to rename the thing as well.
I bookmarked it in my bookmark as the real MicroProfile community drive. Because I've got, like I said, I got like links to like 3 historical ones. So it's like, this is the real one.
Okay, I'm going to call it April 24. April.
There you go.
And 2014, 2020, sorry, 2022, April 2024. Okay, so let me see if I can upload it now. Upload failed.
Okay.
File
Let me,
unreadable. Okay, no, this is a problem on my end.
that's in your end. Okay. Did you just use Google Docs or did you use
Upload failed.
PowerPoint?
I don't know what's going on with this. So let me see what I can do. Is it,
Okay.
yeah.
It could.
No, this is not
could be
Google.
permissions.
This is
Okay.
OneDrive. But that
Okay.
shouldn't matter. But I'm going to try one more time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to my local desktop and try it from there. Copy. And
Okay, I'm going to add you. Which email address should I use? I have the lycos.com email.
no, the Gmail, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the most effective.
Sorry, you want to give that to me? I'll add
Yeah.
you as permissions.
Yeah.
In fact, let me add you to the top level. Hit done. I'm going to add you to the top
It
level.
is. That's my Gmail handle.
Okay. Because I think that is the problem. Copy, add people or groups at gmail.com. You will have, you should have admin access. Editor, you have. I don't know, you're gonna get an email notification, but ignore it for now. Boom, access updated.
Okay, let me see. Do I need to accept my new access?
No, I don't think so. It's just, you're just notified that you're given access.
Okay. Why is this say file unreadable? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Okay, let me open up this file and make sure it's not corrupted. Save to this PC. I don't see any problem with it. So what is it? Is this a permissions issue of some, or is the DRM so this is a Microsoft? It may have DRM'd it. That is also possible.
Well, we could figure it out offline.
Okay.
just chat with me on Slack or whatever, if you need to. Are you on? And that's another question. Are you on Slack? Heck, I need to.
I'm on the MicroProfile stack. Yeah, I am. Although
Okay.
I have it anymore, it was so inactive that I may have removed it. But
Yeah,
let me
so
see.
just feel free to ping me.
Okay, there's supposedly a new button somewhere. Okay, there we go. All right, new file upload. Let me try that. Stop. Open. Okay. Yeah, there's something going on with this file. Okay, I will try some other mechanism. All right, so that's it from my standpoint. And yeah, what I had to do, I'll figure out this access thing.
Okay. All right. Oops. Okay, so I got distracted with Slack. Where are we at?
I'm good for now, John. I'm gonna try to continue to see if I can upload this file.
Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, we've got 10 minutes left. I'm going to steal the screen share, I think. Boom. Yeah, thanks, Reza, for putting in the all that effort and everything. And now we have kind of a foundation to begin tracking from. Did we add it to the meeting minutes anywhere? Social media, promote MPAI. Okay, I think. For lack of off the top of my head, where to put this, I think I'm gonna put down, oops, that's under. Let's do it here. Reviewed, micro. Profile. Metrics. Using a link TBD. I'll do is I'm going to put in m.reza. Oops. So yeah, plus JPlan. And between you and I, we'll get this figured out. Okay. I looked last week at the MicroProfile tutorial. Has Tarun added any additional chapters we know over the last week? Okay.
Not that I've seen. Yeah.
Okay,
I haven't
yeah, I
seen
didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so mhm.
I don't think he added anymore. I think he's just maybe over the weekend he pushed some more. Basically, it's trying to address the basically the feedback comments. So I saw
Okay.
he pushed some. I will double check to see whether he addressed all the comments for particular PRs, so we can merge in.
Okay. We have some bullets here. Oh, this is Emerson created this. Emerson's not here, but we have to-dos for after Dev Nexus, and we're after Dev Nexus. So we have a blog post. Did we talk about this last call? I remember when that is. I don't think we've talked about this yet. Okay, we're gonna wait. I think we're gonna have to have Emerson here for this one. And I don't know, it's 10:53. Sorry, it's 53 after the hour. So I think for me, that's I think I'm just gonna go ahead and close the call unless anyone wants to bring up a topic.
Nothing from me
Okay.
this time.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, I did push the I messaged you in chat about the MicroProfile AI recording, so that ticket should be created.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take
sounds
care of
good.
it.
All right, and likewise, I'll do the same thing with this call sometime this afternoon. All right, thanks,
Perfect.
everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cheers. Bye.
Yep,
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.